What's going on, guys? Today on my weekend recap, I'm going to go over all the weekend game matches that happened all over the three major European leagues, while also going over the big USL draw that had a lot of controversy. And of course, we're going to discuss it and preview that and give you a little bit of my predictions of what's going to happen in this round of 16 of the Champions League. But guys, I'm at Parcero Philly, uniting all through sports and culture here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. And today, I'm giving you my European football weekend recap. Let's get this started, guys. Yeah! Alright guys, so if this is the first time you are tuning into my channel and my weekend recap here, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. But please guys, we are trying to make my name known here in the Philadelphia sports landscape and quite frankly make my name known in the soccer world all over the world. Whether it be in Europe, North America, South America, Africa, wherever it may be, and Parcero Philly needs to be known throughout all soccer fans. And you guys can help me out by doing that, by liking this video, subscribing to this channel, hitting the bell button for notifications, as well as sharing this video and this channel. But guys, let's dive right into this because we got a lot to discuss here. And of course, I want to start this episode off by discussing the Champions League round of 16 draw there, because it was quite frankly pretty interesting what the results came out to be. But let's dive right into it, guys. In the first matchup we have here, a February 18th matchup at 3 p.m. here in the United States at Eastern Standard Time. We have Atletico Madrid facing off against Liverpool. This will be the first matchup we will see here in the round of 16. Now, obviously, we've discussed throughout the group stage how dominant Liverpool has been this season. They have quite frankly looked like the best team throughout all European competitions. And now they will face off against a tough Atletico Madrid team. Although Atletico Madrid's attack has not been as lethal as we have seen in years past, you still cannot sleep on Cholo Simeone. You have to believe that he's going to get these guys ready. And facing off against a Liverpool squad here, if they are not careful, Atletico Madrid can absolutely eliminate them. But like I mentioned, the Atletico Madrid attack has not been as dominant as we have remembered in the past couple of years, and obviously the loss of Antoine Griezmann has been a serious loss there. You know, last year they went with Antoine Griezmann and Diego Costa as the two main guys in the attack, and this year it's Alvaro Morata and João Felix. And for João, we've discussed this plenty of times. We're talking about a 19-year-old player who is, expected to carry this team similar to how Antoine Griezmann was doing. But guys, you can't be putting all that pressure on a 19-year-old kid here. So it's going to be interesting to see how Cholo Simeone continues to try to figure out how to get this attack working. The only bright spot in this Atletico Madrid attack has been Alvaro Morata. So that'll be interesting to see. Unfortunately, I think that Jurgen Klopp, he's done that. He's been there. He's done this before. Liverpool are the kings of Europe for a reason. And I definitely think that in two legs, Liverpool will take care of business here, but I don't think that it will be ran away like some might think that Liverpool will do against Atletico. I got Liverpool winning here. If I had to bet here, I think Liverpool would win on a 4-2 aggregate in both games. We will see, but I hope Atletico Madrid show up here. All right, the next matchup, guys, it's pretty damn interesting here. It is, this is quite frankly the Thomas Tuchel matchup here. Thomas Tuchel is taking his PSG to face off against his former club, Borussia Dortmund. And now, unfortunately though, for Borussia Dortmund, they have not looked up to par since their Bayern Munich loss a couple weeks ago. One bright spot though has been Jadon Sancho. Since his benching in that Bayern Munich game, Jadon has showed up, quite frankly, for Borussia Dortmund, and he's looked a lot better since that Bayern Munich match. So it'll be interesting to see what Sancho can do for Dortmund against PSG. But guys, I've mentioned it, and I'm quite frankly, PSG is my favorite to dethrone Liverpool in this Champions League. I finally feel like Tuchel has finally reached his potential as a European manager here, and the attack that this PSG team has is probably the most dangerous attack in Europe. You're talking about Mauro Icardi, Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, Edison Cavani, Angel Di Maria. Like their attack has depth, And then you talk about in the back, Keylor Navas, one of my favorite goalkeepers around the world, despite him playing for Real Madrid. But the Costa Rican goalkeeper, this season is a season for him to prove it. Real Madrid made the wrong decision by going with Thibaut Courtois over Keylor Navas. So this is going to be a fun matchup, but like I said, that PSG depth is going to go far for them, and I think that they will take care of business against Dortmund. And unfortunately, for Favre and Dortmund, it's going to be another early round elimination for the yellow wall here. So I think PSG will win this on a 5-3 aggregate. This attack is so deadly, and I don't think Dortmund's going to be able to defend them. So I got PSG moving on. All right, next matchup. This is going to be another entertaining matchup as well. My cardiac boys from Bergamo, Atalanta, is going to face off against Valencia. And Valencia, this is the team that eliminated Ajax, the Cinderella story from last season, to move on to the next round in their group. And they're going to face off against an Atalanta team who were on the brink of elimination after the third round of this competition, of the group stage of this competition. After gaining 0 points in their first 3 matchups in their group, they went on to draw Manchester City. They beat Dinamo Zagreb, and then they beat Shakhtar Donetsk to move on and defy all the odds and move on to the round of 16. But what will we see from this Atalanta team? It took a lot to get to this spot where they're at now. Will they have enough in the tank to be able to beat this Valencia team? Because this Valencia team is European tested. Atalanta are not really. And they are missing my boy Duvan Zapata, my Colombiano. Is Atalanta going to have enough attack here with Luis Muriel playing that 9 role and Papu Gomez playing the holding forward? Is that going to be enough to take down Valencia? I think it is. I really think it is. I believe in Gasperini. Gasperini is one of the best managers Italy has. And I think Atalanta is going to do it for Serie A in a bad year for Serie A. I got Atalanta moving on to the next round on a 3-2 aggregate. This is going to be a fun matchup, guys. Do not miss it because you're going to miss some great game. Great football being played. Next matchup, we got Tottenham from England facing off against that energy drink team from Leipzig. Yes, we've discussed this plenty of times here on my channel, guys. Just because it's Europe doesn't mean I don't hate Red Bull. Just because you're in Leipzig, you still suck. So, Leipzig versus Tottenham here. And, guys, Leipzig looked really good in the group stage. They absolutely dominated, and I didn't expect that to happen from this Leipzig team. But will they show up against this Spurs team? This is a Spurs team that's looked a lot better since Jose Mourinho took over for Tottenham Hotspur. They're starting to find their stride. They're starting to look like that team that you saw in Champions League last season in the round of 16. Coming back from adversity, having some nice comebacks, putting together some nice games, some nice matches, I'm sorry. It's going to be a true test for Jose Mourinho because this is a hungry Leipzig team. And it's up to Tottenham to continue showing that hungry style. I think Tottenham's going to take care of business here, though. I have them winning here on a 5-3 aggregate here. All right, we got the rematch of the 2012 UEFA Champions League final, and that was my first ever final watching it live by myself. This was the time when I started getting into Champions League as a kid, and that was one of the best soccer games I've ever seen in my life. I still will say that the best ever soccer game I've ever seen in my life was the 2006 World Cup final between Italy and France. That was incredible. And that Chelsea-Bayern is number 2. Now, this is a different Chelsea-Bayern. There's no Frank Lampard. Well, there is Frank Lampard on the sideline. There's no John Terry's. There's no Didier Drogba's. There's no Nino Torres. There's no Arjen Robben. There's no Frank Ribéry. There's no Bastian Schweinsteigers here. And the faces for both of these teams are much different now. For Bayern, it's all about the goal machine and Robert Lewandowski, the exciting Philippe Coutinho. And for Chelsea, it's all about the youth right now with the transfer ban from last year. This is a fun, exciting young Chelsea squad. Tammy Abraham. Of course, here in America, we know Christian Pulisic very well. Mason Mount. And this is going to be another fun matchup. Now, Chelsea, in the Premier League play as of late, have not played very well. They've lost 4 of the last 5 matches. They're going through a little bit of a slump, but once we start playing these Champions League matches, it's going to be about 2 months after this point here. So, what kind of Chelsea team will we see up into that match? That's going to be determine what I think about this team here. Now, on paper, personally, I like Chelsea, just simply because I don't trust that back line of Bayern Munich. It's It's aged. They have a lot of age on that back line. Does Neuer still have enough to take Bayern Munich on a Champions League run? I don't know about that. Yeah, I see Chelsea, a young Chelsea squad who in Champions League have looked pretty damn good, and Frank Lampard has had the team ready. Christian Pulisic had looked like a scoring machine. Mason Mount has been an absolute great number 10. Tammy Abraham has been a scoring machine as well at the number 9 position. Now, on paper, I like Chelsea to win this game, but I really don't know. This is really the tightest game of all of them. But if I had to flip a coin, and if I had to make a bet, I got Chelsea here. I think Chelsea will move on to the next round. It's going to be a 2-1 aggregate. It's going to be really close. This could come down to PKs. This could be the matchup that could come down to PKs because these two teams are very close. But I got Chelsea moving on to the next round. All right, the next matchup, it's quite BS, quite frankly, here. Now, despite all the stuff that's going over in Serie A, I can't stop loving Napoli. All right, this is the club that actually captivated me as a European soccer fan, and I will never stop loving them. And for them to be getting disrespected the way they have, they got drawn with Barcelona. Now that is such a tough matchup to put up with them on their first matchup. Like, I would have rathered anyone besides Barca. We wouldn't even been drawn to Liverpool, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I would have rathered anyone besides Barcelona. And then we have to discuss that BS Bleacher Report propaganda cartoon that they always like to do for Champions League. And then they had Lionel Messi, okay, balancing what it looked like to be 10 pizza boxes with the Napoli logo, when every other team in Europe had their best player as one of the cartoon characters. They put freaking pizza boxes for Napoli. What kind of disrespect is that crap? Napoli has been a consistent European contender throughout the last couple of years, and you put pizza boxes? Come on, Bleacher. What the hell's wrong with you? But, Napoli's struggles have been no secret this season. Under Carlo Ancelotti, it was a soft team, and they seem to have, rebelled against the management, including Carlo Ancelotti and their president, Aurelio De Laurentiis. And now they are going into this round of 16 with a new manager, Gennaro Rino Gattuso. And we don't know yet what this Gattuso Napoli is yet. They played their first game with Gattuso and they lost to Parma. A match they should have won. But we're going to have plenty of time to see what this Gattuso Napoli can do. He's going to have to implement his style. And just this Napoli team just needs a kick in the ass. They need to gain that passion back. They need to, fight for that badge on the shirt. I think Gattuso's the type of guy that's be able to get that out of Napoli, but it's going to take some time. And unfortunately, though, against this Barcelona team, Barcelona has not been playing to their best capability thus far this season. But at the end of the day, Barcelona still have the best, one of the best, if not the best player in the world, in Lionel Messi. You guys can argue that all you want, but I'm not doing that here. Antoine Griezmann seems to finally start finding his stride with this Barcelona team. You still got Luis Suarez. And then you got probably the next up-and-coming superstar in the world, and that's Ansu Fati. And in the last game of the group stage of Champions League against Inter Milan, I saw Ansu Fati come into the second half and score right off the bat. 5 minutes after getting subbed on the game, Ansu Fati scored a tough goal to win the game for his Barcelona. I just don't know how Napoli gets this done. I see Barcelona winning this on a... Oh man, I really don't want to say this. I see Barcelona winning on a 5-2 aggregate. It's not going to be pretty, and it's going to be tough playing up in Camp Nou. It's also going to be tough for Barcelona to play as the Estadio San Paulo, quite frankly, but I don't think Napoli have it. This is a really tough first matchup in the first round for Napoli. They're not moving on. Barcelona move on. All right, we got Lyon versus Juventus, and Juve's going to move on. Lyon's going to go into this matchup without Memphis Depay, and that's a huge loss. He's a huge contributor on their attack. He's their main goal scorer. And for Juve, it's put up or shut up time for this Juventus team. The Saudi Juventus team has not been inspiring at all. They look like they've taken a step back, and they've had some of the same problems that we've all been mentioning when it comes to a Saudi-managed team. It's the same formation. There's no adjustments. It's the same 11 players match in and match out. And it's like this guy, it's his way or no way. And sometimes as a manager, it can't be like that. You have to feel out your players. You have to accommodate and adjust to what works best for your team. Saudi hasn't done that yet with Juve. Although they haven't looked the best, I still think Juve have enough to move on from this matchup, and they will beat Lyon. It'll be a 3-0. I don't think Lyon score a goal. 3-0 aggregate, and Juve move on to the next round. The last matchup here we got, guys, is Real Madrid versus Manchester City, and it's honestly closer than many think. You know, Real Madrid, since Ronaldo left, have been a different Real Madrid. It hasn't been really too inspiring, but under Zinedine Zidane's leadership yet again, they look better. And I trust this Zidane's Real Madrid much more than the than last season. And Manchester City have been, quite frankly, struggling this season. Is it complacency? Is it the fact that they are a year older and there's some players on this team that, you know, are getting older? But we will see. This is a nice first test for Pep Guardiola and this Manchester City team, and they're under a lot of scrutiny right now. For the payroll that they have, for the success that they've had over the last couple of years, for them not to have barely any success in Europe, that's a problem. That's a problem, quite frankly. But I think they will take care of business against the Real Madrid squad, but it'll be tougher than most think. But I think Man City will move on here, and it'll be a 4-3 aggregate that Man City move on. Guys, that's all I got for you for the Champions League draw. There's going to be some great matchups, and I'm super excited to see what happens, except besides my Napoli. But everything will start up in February, so we got some time here to get things ready and prepare ourselves. Obviously, come closer to that time, I will give you previews for each of those matches. So we will have that, but, you know, should be some exciting games. All right, guys, let's move on to the weekend's matchups. Now, although I didn't give you any previews, I was down in D.C. taking care of NFL business with the Philadelphia Eagles, traveled down there with the fans. So I didn't really get time to talk about any European soccer, but let's talk about some of the action that we had this week, guys, and we have to start off with the Premier League here, guys. And the first matchup I want to discuss is what many thought would be the matchup of the week with Arsenal and Manchester City. Unfortunately, it was none of that. It was probably the least exciting match of the weekend for the Premier League. This match would be over by halftime. City was up 3-0, and Kevin De Bruyne had the match of the season here. He would score 2 goals and an assist in the first half. The Kevin De Bruyne we all know and love seems to be back. But yet again, this Arsenal squad is pretty damn bad. Quite frankly, City was able to get Arsenal to commit to mistakes, and the mistakes would lead to quick turnovers, which would lead to quick transitions, and the counter-attacking was really working for Manchester City, and that would be the main culprit to Arsenal's demise. And of course, like all season long, the Arsenal back line was absolutely terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And I don't... It's crazy because going into the season, we all talked about how Arsenal, spent money on the attack, spending all that money on Nicolas Pepe, trying to outspend my Napoli to get this kid, Nicolas Pepe, yet you still had serious issues on that back line. And quite frankly, you've seen all throughout the season how that back line has failed you match in and match out. It's really biting them in the ass. City would go on to win this game 3-0. They wouldn't score any goals in the second half, but they didn't need to. City had this game locked up. This would be the definite last match for Freddie Ljungberg. He really didn't do anything since Emery got fired, and the management had to make a tough decision, and they decided to go somewhere else. And it would be announced the next day that Arsenal would hire Miguel Arteta from that same Manchester City team, the assistant. Now, you guys, if you guys have heard me talk about Miguel Arteta, I am so high on this guy. This is a former player. First off, I love having former players as managers, and this is also a guy who was able to learn under the great Pep Guardiola over the last couple of seasons. He was able to watch under Pep Guardiola, watch his every move, see what he does good, see what he does bad, and now he's going to be able to get his own opportunity to run his own club here. And this is, quite frankly, despite me not liking Arsenal, and I honestly wanted to see Arteta over in Everton, but this is the perfect opportunity here for Arteta to make his mark here for Arsenal. He knows what Arsenal is all about. He played for Arsenal for a couple of seasons. He played under Arsene Wenger. He knows how long this team has been waiting for an actual good team. And I think he will bring his philosophies over that he learned from Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, and he's going to bring that over to Arsenal. And I think that philosophy that, the Guardiola system, the heavy possessions, the methodical short passes, that's perfect for this Arsenal squad. With the attackers that this team has, in Pierre Aubameyang, and in Nicolas Pepe, and Pierre Lacazette, this is a perfect formation and philosophy for this Arsenal team. And let's not forget, he's got a solid number 10 in Mesut Ozil when he wants to practice. Alright guys, the next matchup here we have to talk about is Manchester United and Everton. Speaking of, Mikel Arteta and clubs moving on to new managers, Everton, as we all know, the last match would go with Duncan Ferguson after the sacking of Marco Silva. This would be the second match for Duncan Ferguson, and it was against a Manchester United club that, quite frankly, was on the up. They were hot. They just came back from back-to-back wins against Tottenham and against their derby foes in Manchester City, and they were riding high. But of course, Everton have looked a lot better since the firing Marco Silva. Duncan Ferguson has been able to lift this Everton club up and give these guys a new found energy here. You're seeing more effort from these guys, and they played so well and they were rewarded. They got the first goal in this match. It was off Manchester United centre back Lindelof, and it would fall into the net for Everton 1-0 lead. However, it wouldn't last long because Manchester United substitute Mason Greenwood, a youth product for Manchester United, would fire back the game-tying goal and would knot this match up, and that would be the final score. Everton would draw Manchester United 1-1. And this honestly, despite this great result for Everton, because drawing to Manchester United is a solid result. I would have liked to win, especially the way they were playing, but they got the draw here. Now, there are a couple issues here with Duncan Ferguson that I've discussed before, and it's one of the concerns of Duncan Ferguson is he knows how to get a team up. He knows how to rah those guys up, but eventually that wears off on a team. All right, tactically, what kind of a manager would he be? How would he handle certain situations? And he would be crossed with a big situation here in this game, and there was a lot of controversy behind this move that he did, and that was subbing off Moise Kean, their young, big money signing over the summer. He would be subbed on the match in the second half, and after 18 minutes, Duncan Ferguson decided to take him out. Now, Moise Kean wasn't playing to his best capabilities. He didn't look that good, but when you're talking about a young kid that you spent a lot of money on to be the future of your club, not every game is going to be perfect. He's going to go through his bumps and bruises. This is still a kid we're talking about here. But you don't take him out of the game after you just subbed him on. That makes no sense. And just what do you think that's going to do to his confidence? That was not a good move. Moise Kean, while he was being subbed on, would not even acknowledge Duncan Ferguson. And good. He shouldn't have. He would walk straight to the dressing room, and that would be his night. Now, Moise Kean hasn't, performed to the expectations that we expected this season. Now, obviously, he's been mismanaged. Marco Silva was a complete mess this season, and now he's transitioning from a new manager, and now he's about to get a even new manager that he's got to even prove to that guy. So it's been rough so far in England for Moise Kean, but no one said it was going to be easy. This is the biggest league in the world. You want to be great. You want to be the next great Italian striker. You got to fight through this adversity. And you got to find a way to get your ass playing regular minutes for Everton. Now let's move on to the news that came out from this matchup. And after this match, it was announced that Duncan Ferguson would not be the manager going forward for Everton. And they actually have appointed Mr. Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti will be the new manager of Everton. And this is an interesting signing for a lot of reasons. And the main reason is I did not expect Everton to go for a manager of the caliber of Carlo Ancelotti. I look at this Everton roster and I see a lot of good young players. I'd rather have them sign a manager who is more familiar with the youth and who can grow with these guys. Now, Carlo Ancelotti, he's got a lot to prove here. This is essentially his last opportunity to manage a major club in Europe, in a major league. He flamed out at Bayern Munich, he flamed out at Napoli, and now he's getting his last opportunity here with this Everton squad. Luckily, he does have some talent here. I've mentioned it before. You have the England goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford, on this team. You have the Colombian center back in Yerry Mina. You have a quality fullback in the Frenchman Lucas Digne. You got Richarlison, a starter for the Brazilian national team. You have Moise Kean, the future of Italy. So there's a lot of talent on this Everton team. A lot of talent for Carlo Ancelotti to work with. But some of the stuff that he has done incorrect before, he's got to fix. Because he can win with this Everton club. The expectation here is to get to Europa League. That's the first step. And if you do that right, they'll spend more money and they'll get you a better squad. So I'm really intrigued to see what Ancelotti does with Everton. It should be interesting to see. I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to have faith in Ancelotti, and I'm going to have faith that he's going to get this Everton club to where they belong. And the best part about it is Duncan Ferguson's not going anywhere. He's staying on as the assistant manager, and that was a brilliant idea by Carlo Ancelotti, because clearly the dressing room loves Duncan Ferguson, and they should. Duncan is a lovable guy. He loves Everton. He loves those guys in that dressing room, and this is the perfect opportunity for him to learn under Carlo Ancelotti and make his mark with Everton. And who knows? Maybe he'll get his own job eventually. This should be a good signing for Everton. We had a surprise here in the Premier League as Chelsea would lose yet again to Bournemouth. It was a 1-0 win, and thanks to from a little help from VAR, Bournemouth got a little lucky here and would win this game here 1-0. Now this is their fourth loss out of the 5 last matches for Chelsea. This was a Chelsea club who a month ago was fighting for Premier League, and now it looks like they'll be out of Champions League very shortly. And it just seems like this Chelsea squad, when they're facing a club that is, going through some serious adversity, they're looking disastrous. They're on the brink of relegation. It seems like when they face teams that are hungry and want it more, they fail. And that's a serious problem, especially when you have the young players that Chelsea has. They cannot be playing like that. And Frank Lampard's got to dig deep on this team, because you can't be losing to teams like Bournemouth. Everton spanked you. Frank Lampard's got a lot of work to do, and he's got to get some results back quickly, because this run of form for Chelsea cannot happen. Wolves versus Tottenham. It was a 2-1 win for Tottenham Hotspur, and it was a tough game. It was a really exciting and entertainment game. It would come all the way down to the wire. And this Jose Mourinho Tottenham squad, I said this a couple minutes ago. They seem to be getting back that form that we saw in the round of 16 in Champions League. It doesn't matter if they are down or not. They seem to find their composure, and they seem to find ways to finish matches. This was a good result for Tottenham, because this Wolves team was all in good form as well. For them to stay in this game, it was huge. It was really huge. So let's look at some of the other results in Premier League. Liverpool moving forward in their pursuit of the Premier League title. They beat Watford 2-0. Sheffield United staying in form, beating Aston Villa 2-0. Just one note I want to talk about in this match. Jack Grealish seems to be a little bit overrated and seems to be a little prima donnist. He would miss a PK in this match, and he's not putting this team on his back in a way that I thought he would. This was a guy that was about to be bought for 50 million pounds to Tottenham Hotspur last year. The deal was really close to being done, and now he's getting the opportunity in the Premier League with his club that he loves in Aston Villa. I'm not seeing something that I like from him. I saw last year in the Birmingham Derby, Aston Villa versus Birmingham, I saw Jack Grealish get assaulted by a fan on the field in the middle of the match. You don't hear about that around the world. Yeah, he put the team on his back after that moment, and he won that derby there. And that's the Jack Grealish I need to see. Now, I don't need Jack Grealish getting smacked around by a fan in the middle of a match, but I need to see Jack Grealish put the team on his back and win some matches here for Aston Villa, because this is a solid Aston Villa squad, and he needs to get back to that form. Leicester dropped points against Norwich City. That was not good. Not good at all. This Norwich City team somehow knows how to step up to the big teams. They're pests like that. Now Leicester City have to find a way to regroup here. Although they got a point, man. But when you got Liverpool running away with this league, you got to get every point. You have to get all the points you can. and drawing to Norwich is not going to cut it. Burnley would upset Newcastle 1-0. Newcastle would be without Maximin as well as Miguel Almiron. Last but not least, we had Southampton losing to West Ham 1-0. All right, this weekend we got some fun matches here. Everton versus Arsenal will be facing off here. We got both the new managers facing off for the first time with their respective clubs. Carlo Ancelotti with Everton and Miguel Arteta with Arsenal. Newcastle United facing off against Crystal Palace. That'll be a Saturday matchup, bright and early here in America, 10 a.m. Aston Villa facing off against Southampton. Time here for Aston Villa to get back on the winning side. That'll be another Saturday matchup. Norwich City facing off against Wolves. What kind of Norwich City will we get here? Will we get the Norwich City that had some nice results against Manchester City and Leicester City? Or will we get the team that falls flat at times? This is a good Wolves team, so I'm expecting they're going to show up here. Maybe. Brighton will face off against Sheffield United. Burnley versus Bournemouth. Ooh, we got a good one. We got a good one to round things out on Saturday. We got Manchester City facing off against Leicester City. Oof. That's going to be the match of the weekend, quite frankly. That's battle for second place there. So that will be fun to watch. This will be a real test for Leicester City. What kind of Leicester City will we get here? Will Leicester City show up? Will they show up? Watford versus Manchester United on Sunday, and then Tottenham versus Chelsea. Another good matchup on Sunday to end this Premier League fixture week. Now, let's look at the standings here, guys, shall we? Now, with Leicester City dropping points, Liverpool's lead is now 10 points. Oof. Is Liverpool really going to run away with this Premier League? Is that really what's about to happen? Oh, my God. All right, Man City heading into that Leicester City matchup this weekend. They are just 4 points behind. So if Manchester City gets the W, they'll just be a point behind Leicester City. It's crazy how the tides turn in a month. Gotta love soccer. Tottenham have finally gotten back into the top 5. Jose Mourinho's done an excellent job with this Tottenham Hotspur club. They are now in 5th place with their 26 points. Man U is right behind them with 5 points, but they are knotted up with Sheffield United, the surprise team so far. Quite frankly, they are the surprise team despite the show we've seen from Leicester City. They are in the top 10. They've been in the top 10 for most of the season now. They are tied in 6th with Manchester United with 25 points. All right, let's move on to La Liga. Let's see some of the fixtures there. Alaves would draw against Leganes, a 1-1 draw. Levante got a nice win against Granada, winning that match 2-1. Barcelona and the exciting young Real Sociedad team, they would draw them 2-2. This Real Sociedad team is really fun to watch. A lot of good young talent on this team, and they are fighting for Champions League spot. They really are. And for Barcelona, though, it was great. It was good to see Antoine Griezmann, despite, me not liking the player. He's starting to, catch his stride with Barcelona. He's starting to look a little bit more comfortable with Barcelona. So it'll be interesting to see what more we will see from Antoine Griezmann in this Barcelona's club. But they would draw against Real Sociedad 2-2. Bilbao would draw against Eibar as 0-0. Atletico Madrid would find some goals here and get back on the winning side, beating Osasuna 2-0 on a brace from Alvaro Morata. And again, Atletico Madrid, it was a good win. You got some 3 points here, got back a win that you really needed. But someone else other than Alvaro Morata has to score goals for the Atletico Madrid team. It has to. This can't keep happening. Getafe keeps it rolling here. They beat Real Valladolid, winning 2-0. Celta Vigo would draw against a 10-man Mallorca 2-2. Espanyol and Real Betis have an exciting match. It was a quite exciting match, quite frankly. But the boys from Barcelona, the other club from Barcelona, would draw Betis 2-2. Villarreal got a nice little upset against Sevilla. This is a Sevilla team that we thought that, could they possibly challenge for La Liga title? And they dropped points against Villarreal. They would lose 2-1 to the Yellow Submarine. Last but not least, an exciting match here. We had Valencia versus Real Madrid, and Valencia had 3 points locked up until the last minutes of this game. And Karim Benzema, he has been a savior for Real Madrid since Ronaldo left, and he would put in the goal that would save a point for Real Madrid drawing this match 1-1, and it was a tough match. This Valencia team is no joke this season. They're a tough matchup to play against, and they would get the much-needed point in that game. But Madrid would need that point because, guys, in the middle of the week, we got El Clásico. It's the match that you've all been waiting for. I don't really care for El Clásico, but I get it. It's the two powerhouses of La Liga. It's all the stars these two teams put together. It's all the titles these two teams have put together in La Liga and as well as in European competitions. It should be an exciting one because these two teams are pretty tightly contested. They are neck and neck in the standings. So that will be a fun game to watch. That will be a Wednesday match at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in America. Like I mentioned, heading into the Clásico, Barça and Real Madrid are knotted up with 35 points heading into that game. Sevilla, with their loss, they're now 4 points behind both Barcelona and Real Madrid with their 31 points. Getafe, they keep winning and it's paying off. They are now in 4th place. The third club from Madrid is in 3rd place at this current moment in La Liga. They got 30 points. Atletico Madrid have fallen now to 5th, while Real Sociedad have fallen to 6th place, 29 and 28 points respectively. All right, in Bundesliga play. Now this is going to be a league that I'm going to be watching a lot more of because with the bullcrap that's happening in Serie A, this to me is the best league. They give you everything besides the quality on the field. It's good, but it's not Premier League. It's not La Liga, quite frankly. But I think with the direction Bundesliga is going, they will get there, quite frankly. But let's go right into it, guys, because first game here, Augsburg versus Hoffenheim. Augsburg would take care of business here, winning 4-2. Paderborn versus Union Berlin, the other Union team. They would draw 1-1. Hertha Berlin versus Freiburg. Hertha would beat Freiburg 1-0. This was a little bit of a shock the way Freiburg have been playing this season. I don't want to talk about this next game, but Bayern Munich versus Werder Bremen. And Werder Bremen have not looked good this season. Last year they didn't look good, but at least they gave you fight, and it was at this point that they started to turn it around, right? And this year they just look worse. Really do. They don't look any good at all, and they would get absolutely embarrassed. Bayern would put up 6 on them. 6-1 would be the final score. Philippe Coutinho will get his first hat-trick with Bayern Munich, while Lewandowski would have a brace here. And they would win this match 6-1. And for Werder Bremen manager Florian Kohfeldt, you got to raise the question. Is it time to start looking for a new manager here? Now, his overall record is not bad. It's actually a winning record. He's 33, 24, and 26 as a manager for Werder Bremen. He, obviously, as we all know, gained his success and got the promotion after doing such a good job with the youth of Werder Bremen and with Werder Bremen too. But now Werder Bremen, if they're not careful, are in danger of relegation. Now, as someone who seriously roots for Werder Bremen, it's my Bundesliga club. I don't want to see this from Werder. And they're a solid team. It's not like they're a bad team. So I really have to start questioning Florian. I really do. I understand the talent that Bayern Munich has. Okay? But you got to have some fight. Losing 6-1 is unacceptable. We will talk about them in a second. Dortmund take care of business against Mainz, winning 4-0. Good win for Dortmund to stay with pace. Cologne would upset Bayern Leverkusen, a 10-man Bayern Leverkusen, and they would win this match 2-0, allowing them to gain some breathing air in the relegation zone. Kind of. Leipzig took care of business against Dusseldorf, winning 3-0. Wolfsburg had a nice little upset, beating Borussia Mönchengladbach, and we discussed this after that München win. Would Gladbach have enough and continue this momentum throughout the season? They showed you they couldn't. They would drop points to Wolfsburg, a bad loss, unacceptable. We will see how they bounce back, but after a big win against München, you come back with this dud against Wolfsburg? Schalke took care of business against Eintracht Frankfurt despite being down a man. Good win for Wagner and his boys. Alright guys, but actually on Tuesday, Bundesliga got things started quickly. They had some matchups being played on Tuesday. Werder Bremen, after being embarrassed by Bayern Munich, would get embarrassed again by Mainz, losing 5-0 in 1 week. Werder have found a way to lose both matches to a combined 11-1 score. That is unacceptable. Let's see what happens this week, but These are some bad results here for Werder Bremen. And you just quite frankly are seeing a team that is just giving up. Really have just been giving up. Dortmund and Leipzig, a fun, great matchup would end up in a 3-3. Really great matchup. Those two teams have really given you some fun matches over the last couple of years. Hoffenheim would take care of business against Union Berlin, winning 2-0. Augsburg would beat Fortuna Dusseldorf 3-0, and Dusseldorf is back-to-back losses for them as well. Tomorrow we got some good matches. On Wednesday we got some good matches here, guys. Bayer Leverkusen will face off against Hertha Berlin. Borussia Mönchengladbach will face off against Paderborn. It's a good opportunity for them to bounce back. Wolfsburg, after that big upset against Mönchengladbach, will face off against Schalke. Freiburg will face off against Bayern München, and it's going to be a tough challenge for them. And then last but not least, we have Eintracht Frankfurt. Hopefully they can bounce back. Will face off against FC Köln. Now with Mönchengladbach dropping points this past weekend, it excelled RB Leipzig to first place. We do not want to see that energy drink team from Leipzig in first place. So Mönchengladbach, get your shit together. Dortmund have moved up to third place now. Kudos to them. Favre has been able to rally these boys up, and they are now in third place with 30 points. Schalke. Wagner's doing some work with these guys. He's got them up to fourth place right now. After being sacked by Huddersfield last year, I told you this was the perfect job for Wagner. Go back to Germany. And he picked the perfect club to go back to Germany with. And Schalke is reaping the benefits of having Wagner, and they are in fourth place right now. Keep it up, Schalke. Keep it up. Bayern München is now in fifth place, moving up 2 spots from that bad 7th place spot, and they are in 5th place with 27 points. Leverkusen have dropped to 7th now with 25 points. Eintracht Frankfurt keeps falling down too. They are in 12th place right now. They have 18 points. My Werder Bremen, man, they are really fighting with fire right now. They are 2 points away from relegation. They are in 15th place with 14 points. They've got to get this shit together. It is unacceptable to be relegated, and I really don't want them to get relegated. I've dealt with relegation with my teams before. My América de Cali got relegated in 2011, and it took them 5 years to get out of the second division of Colombian soccer. It was a 5 years of hell. I don't want to see Werder Bremen in the second division of Bundesliga. Let's get it together, guys. Let's get it together. All right, guys. Last topic I want to talk about before we sign off here, and that is the absolute continuous ignorance and embarrassment coming out of Italy. I told you guys I will not be covering any Serie A content until they get this shit together. But I had to give you guys this update because this is absolutely disgusting. So if you haven't been on Twitter or any form of social media and you haven't seen this story, Serie A, we've all come at them for not stepping up in this battle of racism that's been going on in their country of Italy, right? So Serie A decided it's time to do something to combat this racism. Even though they probably don't care too much about the racism, they don't see it as a big problem. They decided, all right, we've got enough scrutiny. Let's do a campaign. All right. So they got this artist, okay, who works directly with Serie A, and they wanted him to create a painting, something that they could use for Boxing Day this season to combat this racism. So the artist goes by the name Simeone Fugazzotto. He decided to paint 3 separate monkeys with different colors on their faces. I really wish I was kidding when I'm saying this right now. So Serie A decided that to combat this racism here, they would use monkeys to try to show the world we're all together. We're all together in this. The fact that Serie A and the people running Serie A and this artist here, it can be so ignorant and so stupid to come out with this campaign really boggles my mind. The fact that you really compare the issue with the racism towards the black players to monkeys, dude, you got some serious issues over in Italy. I really don't know how Serie A can bounce back from this. I really don't. And in just hearing Simeone's explanation of the reason why he used the monkey was the inspiration came from Kalidou Koulibaly's racist abuse last season during Boxing Day when the Inter fans decided to throw the monkey chants at him. and he decided to use that for this campaign here. And I kid you not, he said that that moment on Boxing last year was the motivation to making these paintings. And he's saying that he said there is no man or monkey. We are all alike. If anything, we are all monkeys. What? I'm sorry, what? Oh, man. Now, Simeone also said that each monkey represents a different race. Obviously, one black, one Asian, one Hispanic. But, man, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible campaign to try to fight racism. And I also have to raise the question, too. In the front offices, in the offices of Serie A, are there any young people who have a say in the decisions that are going on in Serie A? Because I feel as if there was people like my age that were working with Serie A, they would not allow stupid campaigns like this to happen to fight this racism epidemic that you have in Italy. But you do have to not the whole league is not a fault here. It's mainly the main offices of Serie A, as well as the smaller clubs in Serie A, your Cagliaris, your Hellas Veronas, those type of small clubs have been the issue with the racism here. And I feel as if that Serie A needs to find those young Italians who have a mindset that is compatible for today's day and age. Because I feel as if these older gentlemen that work in Serie A are like the rest of these old stubborn Italians, that they're just racist. But you do have to give kudos to clubs like AC Milan and AS Roma, who have gone out of their way to try to say that they are not with this. All right, that's Serie A. We do not agree with this, and we will not stand by this ignorant behavior by the league. It's really sad, and it's really unfortunate that Serie A can be this ignorant to the fact of racism. It's really not hard. It's not hard at all. And what it comes down to is we're all human beings. Some of us have different colors. Some of us have different features. But we're still human beings. There's no need to treat people differently. And for whatever reason, I'm not putting all Italians in the same boat here, but for whatever reason, the Italians in Serie A just don't get that. And it's really sad. And again, I'm going to continue saying this until Serie A just act like you give a crap about the situation. Until then, I will not be discussing Serie A content here. But we had to discuss this here because, quite frankly, this was headline news in soccer. And this is absolutely disgusting and needs to be talked about. But guys, that's all I have for you today as far as European soccer goes. There was a lot to discuss, even though we don't discuss Serie A here. But great stuff that happened. Excited about Champions League, excited about what's going on in the other leagues. So lots to look forward to. But guys, I want to hear from you in the comments below. You want to talk about anything we talked about today? You want to talk about the Champions League draw? You want to talk about Premier League? You want to talk about Bundesliga? You want to talk about La Liga? You want to talk about the ignorant Serie A league? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it below. Let me know in the comments below any questions or any concerns or any opinions you folks may have. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into my show here. I really appreciate it. But we are really trying to grow El Parcero Philly here in the Philadelphia sports landscape, as well in the soccer market worldwide. My goal here with this channel is trying to unite people. Okay, here in the Philadelphia area, you folks may know, sports is a big deal here. But soccer, for whatever reason, has not been able to catch on in this American city. It is my goal, my job, to try to make soccer a thing here. We are a 5-for-5 city. And if you like European soccer, I'm there with you. But if you want to help me grow, guys, help me out by liking this video, subscribing to this channel, hitting the bell button for notifications, as well as sharing this video and this channel. And of course, guys, if you want to follow me on other platforms of social media, you can definitely do so. Follow me on Twitter at El Parcero Philly. You can also follow me on Instagram at L_Parcero_Philly. But of course, guys, I'm El Parcero Philly. And until next time, I will catch you later.